We're here today at Lousehill, Copse, Woodland in Tilehurst, Reading, and we're going to have a wander round with Natalie from Nature Nurture and Adrian, who is a local naturalist and woodland enthusiast, and me, I'm Buffy from the Conservation Volunteers. We've been running a 2-year-long Heritage Lottery funded project at the Woodland to do improvements, improve the access for the local community, learn about the wildlife here, learn a bit more about Lousehill Copse and its history, and just have a bit of an explore of this fantastic woodland.
This has probably been planted 150 or so years ago. The trees that we've got here are lime trees. It's quite unusual to find a plantation of lime trees. Lime was a very common wood for carving, particularly in sort of friezes around houses. We've got the Potteries estate, which is a bit further over by McIlroy's. There were kilns there.
Right.
So they would dug the clay out, they'd have made it into bricks and fired it. That was an essential part of the development of Reading.
And we're all familiar with
that
red brick of Reading, but I think some of that real quality tiles, like I've heard some ended up on the floor of Westminster
Abbey.
Abbey.
Floor tiles in Westminster Abbey, yeah. And there's another beautiful thing, this tree here, this is a field maple, very, very old field maple. And it's been coppiced, but it hasn't been coppiced for 100 years or so. That's why it's got these great big stems. It's got these very distinctive little maple leaves. You tend to overlook when it's dark green like everything else in the summer, but in the autumn and winter, and it turns yellow and it hangs onto the trees for quite a long time.
TCV have run 50 practical volunteering days, but we've worked with about 140 volunteers. So in the last few years we've made over 60 steps. We've put in a boardwalk and built 2 bridges and repaired a few bridges.
We found palmate newts in this pond, and one of the really favourite activities for kids is pond dipping. So we've got these special nets, and then they look at what they've caught in these plastic trays, and they'll find dragonfly nymphs, and sometimes these newts, and what else can be found
Pond skaters, all sorts.
But it's just such a favourite, isn't it?
Yeah, leeches.
Yeah.
Snails. There's actually fish in this pond as well. We've done a lot of wildlife surveying here, and we've done that by engaging with local specialists and inviting them out to join us in the woodland and teach us about how to survey woodlands and how to look for different species. I think we were really surprised to find out that there are 5 different species of bat here, as it's quite a small urban woodland, but you don't know that they're here because they come out at night and you can't hear them. We came out with local naturalists with bat detectors and managed to hear 5 different species on the detectors, which was amazing.
An ancient woodland, an ancient coppiced oak and hazel woodland. Nelson's ships were made of them. A lot of our manor houses have got oak beams holding the roofs up. It's been in the ecosystem for 10,000 years, and because they've been here so long, many things, beetles and wasps and caterpillars and moths and butterflies, all sorts of things are associated with them.
There's certain types of beetle that they only go to that oak when it's a certain age. And
well, it's even more mysterious than that, because there are not that we know about them here so much, and these oaks grow in quite close proximity to one another, but quite often oaks have ended up on their own, and they're not connected to any other oak tree, not physically connected. And some of those trees have beetles in them that are only found in that oak tree.
Wow.
And they're found nowhere else on earth.
Nature Nurture have been working with the Conservation Volunteers here for the last couple of years, and one way we've done that, we've looked at where Lousehill Copse is, and we worked out where all the local primary schools were, and we linked with those schools and we offered free workshops, forest school programs in the wood. And another thing we did was bring teachers to the wood and train them how to use this incredible space as an outdoor classroom. And in fact, it ended up getting so popular we needed a whole waiting list, and we had to map different parts of the woodland where different schools could work. So that was really exciting.
It's beautiful wood. This is oak. This should be that really hard wood that you could build ships out of. That's all that's left. But this is easy for beetles or beetle larvae to chew through. So everything from the great big stag beetles to the little tiny beetles that live on the woodland floor that we hardly ever see. And then the beetle larvae are food for woodpeckers and centipedes and millipedes and shrews and all sorts of other things.
We'd done a recce that morning and realised we were going to have to walk around it, and just bringing the kids up the path here and then them suddenly saying, oh my God, and then being able just to talk about the weather and the fallen tree. And this was really tricky for them to get round. They had to really clamber around. Whenever we talk about trees with kids, we talk about, well, what's actually underground can be as big as what you see above ground. So to be able to then point out, just look how these roots were sort of stretching in the ground, and it's just so much more than you can teach within a classroom, just getting the kids out, seeing how that whole woodland system works.
Look at that. It's how full of water it is as well.
So other ways we've been working with the community, we've devised something called a family wild day, and what we do, we put all around the woodland different activities, from pond dipping and bug hunting and analysing what sort of biodiversity we've got, and we call it a family wild day, and we have different themes. So working with the conservation volunteers, they worked out which were the priority species in the area, and we thought, well, how can we connect people to get really interested in these species? So we actually called it Mission Lousehill, and we turned all the kids into spies, and they just went on these quests in the woodland finding out what their creatures were.
The leaves are quite big. These are quite small leaves. It's all that's left at winter, and they don't last long. When they fall from the tree, they rot really quickly. Whereas oak leaves have got lots of tannin in them, and they don't rot. So even though there were loads of hazel leaves around here, they're virtually all gone. It's a big round leaf, and it's got loads of little teeth at the top. And it's not like the wych elm. Wych elm is a bit similar to hazel, but if you look at the leaf, it has this very distinctive shape with two ears and then the point. And they tend to go this lovely yellowy colour in the very late in the autumn before they lose their leaves. Wych elm leaves can be quite big, but these big leaves always fall first and leave the little ones behind. But you can see the structure.
So here's one of the interpretation boards we created that's recently been installed, and we get to explore the nature, look at the history, and one of the other things we devised is called the Wild Workout. So again, thinking about the creatures that might live in the wood and how to make it fun and how to get kids active in the woodland, we devised this thing called the Wild Workout. So as people meander through the wood, there's these different activity stations. There's the red-shanked carder that does this sort of buzzy thing with his wings. There's the boxing fox, where you get to sort of punch like a fox. There's a slithering snake. There's all sorts, and as you go around the wood, you're learning about nature and having fun, being fit and healthy too.
This has been browsed by muntjac deer. So as they nibble the shoots, it sends out lots more shoots lower down. So you get this little dense bush, and that's not what you want. You want this. But if you wanted to produce coppice wood, like long shoots, for making your fences or your charcoal, then you have to stop this from happening. And ancient woodlands are often identifiable by the fact they've got a bank around them, and the bank and the ditch, and then there'd be a fence on top. They'd keep the deer out. So I've already got, just by this earthwork, I've got 6 feet of height from down there, so that's presenting the obstacle to the deer. The road deer is going to jump over that. Can easily clear this. When you put a fence on top of this, and the fence is 6 feet on top of that, it makes it a really difficult obstacle for a deer to get over.
We've done quite a lot of surveying of the old trees in the woodland to find out how old they are. We have one ancient tree, one big oak tree that we found, but lots of quite old trees.
There's so much to see in this woodland. You see, there's what is this? This is an ash, isn't it? This is an ancient ash.
Is that ash?
That's ash, I think, yeah.
I think for me the most exciting thing about this project has been when we started a couple of years back, this woodland wasn't really used very much by local people, and what we've found out since is that people are coming here more and more, and it's the pester power of the kids who maybe remembered a workshop they've done in the wood and they're saying, come on Mum and Dad, let's just get to the woodlands, and it's become just an adventure space for the local community, and also plenty of opportunities. We've had children like as young as 3 helping coppice the woodland, so it's that ownership of the community, of this space, and it's great for people and great for nature.
I guess on a personal level, I've really enjoyed learning about this woodland. It's really overlooked. Lots of people that even live very close by don't even realise it's here, and it's a an urban woodland and maybe considered not a very special place, but I found it to be really special. There's so much wildlife and so much to see, and it's beautiful all through the year, and I've really enjoyed learning all about it and exploring it.
I need a jackdaw.